Well, I've got a lot of family that's Democrats, but they think they're Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told them, I said, look, if you support abortion in any way, shape, or form, I don't want you near my kids.
Right.
And so I got some pushback, obviously. My parents, I mean, a lot of them, it's like whatever, but my parents, it's been tough because they basically said, okay, we're not going to, I guess we're not going to see you then. I'm sorry that you're pushing us away.
Mm.
So do you think I went too far, or what do you think?
Well, that's hard to say. It's awfully hard to deny grandparents access to their grandchildren. It's a good way of making a point on your part. I mean, you shouldn't just say, if you support abortion, I don't want you near my kids. That'd be maybe like one of your siblings saying, if you support Trump, I don't want you near my kids. But, of course, your point is, if you support abortion, you support killing children. And because that's what happens in an abortion, a child is killed. Right. So why would I want to trust you with my kids if you don't feel that it's wrong to kill children? That's basically your reasoning. I don't know if you explained it like that or if you just said it more briefly. I think they should understand that that's what you're thinking. But I think instead of saying that they can't be around your kids, I think that might be a little harsh because your kids are probably going to be around a lot of people here and there, just in society who aren't Christians and who probably support abortion. But I would say I don't want to leave my kids, in your care. We can visit you and you can enjoy my kids, but I don't want to leave my kids in the care of somebody who, does not have convictions about killing children. Now, of course, your parents would say, well, we do have convictions about killing children, but if the baby in the womb is not a child, I just ask them, okay, the burden of proof is on you on that one. It certainly is a controversial question whether a baby in a womb is a child. Most liberals don't believe so, and most conservatives do. And I would say all the evidence that's available to support either position is on the side of the conservatives there, or the anti-abortion. Every argument that can be made for the identification of a human life supports the idea that the child in the womb is a human life and a growing one. And it has human DNA, and it's got fingerprints, it's got a heartbeat, it's got all those things after just a few weeks. And so if someone says, okay, I don't believe that's a human life, and they say, well, what kind of life is it? It's not dead. It's obviously not dead. It's moving. Its heart is beating. What species of life is that? I mean, anyone who says that a child in the womb is not a human life simply is stating an article of faith. And it's blind faith because it's against all the evidence that's available. There's no evidence that can be presented, no definition that is universally accepted of life or of human life that would not apply to a child in the womb. So, I mean, if they say, well, it's not breathing air on its own. Well, there's human beings who are injured in such ways that you have to keep it on a machine for them to breathe air, but they're still a human being. There's lots of arguments that are sometimes put forward by people who don't think very clearly to say that's not a human life. But anyone who doesn't have a political stake in the question would recognize that as a human life in a heartbeat, literally.
Right.
So I would just say, I obviously think that abortion is murder, and I think that if anyone thinks it is not, I'm willing to hear them make a case. But I want evidence. I want evidence from you. I don't want you to just state an opinion, because we have evidence that this is a human life in the womb. And so if there's two sides of a controversy, and one side has evidence, abundant evidence, and one side has zero evidence, only prejudice, well then, of course, I can't trust that the person who's taking the anti-life side is going to think very clearly about moral issues at all. And obviously, as much as, I want my kids to know you and love you and you love them, I don't want too much of that kind of influence in their life. So we'll be around our children when they're with you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. I think that's good advice. Yeah. I don't, I think I've made my point. Now I can draw back a little bit and say, yeah, you can be around them. I still don't trust you, really, kind of thing.
Well, no, don't say I don't trust you, because that's a pretty harsh thing to say to any person, especially your parents. But I would say I don't trust your judgment on this matter. And obviously, and your influence on the children. You know, I trust you to be good-hearted. I trust you to be loving. I trust you to be decent people. It's not like I think you're, you know, awful. It's just I don't think you have very clear judgment on this, and I think that you could definitely corrupt my children's thinking on this. So, you know, you don't have to draw back too far, but I don't think you should prevent them from seeing their grandchildren. That would be something I think everyone would regret later.